What's up, everyone? Just getting warmed up. And yeah, this is basically how I typically, will start off a guitar session. Maybe play some arpeggios, get the fingers warm and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's just a variation of arpeggios, some pedal tones, stuff like this, just to keep the hands, moving quick. Love from India. Hey, shout out to you guys. Everyone who joined, and shout out to India as well. You guys are awesome. Going vertical today? Yeah, I'm going vertical because it's easier to do, essentially. When you are setting up a live stream on YouTube and you have a tripod with your phone going this way and you have the camera angle right, it's annoying typing and being like this sideways, I guess, whereas the phone is typically vertical. So I just did this today out of convenience because it's kind of takes a little bit longer. I just wanted to get on as fast as possible, get on the live stream. Any hybrid picking exercises? So if we're talking about any hybrid picking exercises that I do, would be a good way of just starting off with hybrid picking if you're a beginner at that is just to take maybe like an E minor arpeggio like this. And when you're doing your upstroke, pull off downstroke like this. Instead of using an upstroke, maybe try a hybrid pick. It's actually a lot faster to do it that way. I actually find it to be really fast. Check it out. I really like that sound a lot. So I actually don't even do it that way. That's the funny part about it, is I actually prefer the sweep picking technique. But as far as basic hybrid picking exercises, I would say that's actually a really great start. So yeah, try that, a 2-string arpeggio with hybrid picking. Cool, quite cool stuff. It's 5 a.m. now. Love from Iran. Hey, shout out to you. Shout out to Iran, man. But 5 a.m., that's pretty early. That's tough to play those super crazy ninth arpeggios like that. I do that a lot, but sometimes getting the full ninth notes, I guess, in each octave is hard. Like when you start here, it's actually just easiest to do it like this. Really cool stuff. It's 6:55 a.m. in India. Hey, shout out to India, man. Wow, we got a lot of people who wake up early in this live stream. Do you like Hendrix? Oh yeah, of course. Huge inspiration to me. Huge inspiration. How much pressure do you apply on the fretboard? I believe he means by THR. Is the how much pressure do I apply? Enough needed to produce a good sounding note, but not too much pressure where it's going to make your note sound a little bit off. You know what I mean? Where you get that sort of... Actually, I don't even know if you can hear that through the microphone on the camera, but either way, it's one of those things where you got to have a light touch, in my opinion, if you want to be able to shred super fast like this. So for legato stuff like that, actually, I just kind of noticed that's I just kind of really noticed that. I never really realized that it was that light of a touch for this kind of thing. That's very much so a light touch. So for that sort of sound, definitely a light touch, but for like fast picking, let me see. It's a little bit more of a harder touch, so maybe for legato a lighter touch, and maybe for harder picking stuff or faster picking stuff. I shouldn't say harder picking because alternate picking is kind of hard, whereas economy picking is more soft. So maybe there is a difference there as well. You got me analyzing sort of my technique right now, so actually I'm learning some stuff as we go on with this. So yeah, for economy picking, it actually seems like a lighter touch. I don't know. There's a lot of different answers to this question because there's a lot of different techniques, that require you to play with different touches on your left hand. So yeah, for chords, you're generally not going to be wanting to press those really hard either. So it just depends, I guess. The answer is it depends. Do you have to charge an electric guitar? No. Wait, that answer could vary though. You might have to charge the pickups on a electric guitar, depending on what kind of guitar you have, because some pickups require that. I believe these like new pickups nowadays have that sort of charging technology, which is cool, and I hear they sound really good as well. Are you using 9s or 10s? Neither. I'm using 8s. Insane playing. What type of pick do you use? I use only one kind of pick, and these are the only picks I do really like. Dunlop Alltech Sharp 1.0s. I highly recommend these. Been using these for about 10, 12 years maybe, and I just can't get enough of them. They're just so good for alternate picking, rhythm, slow playing. You just get this really sharp tone with the tip of the pick because it's sharp. So it gives you a really nice sustain. I don't know, I just couldn't imagine using anything else. Holy cow, you break them much? Never. I use Diodario 10s. Yeah, I have used 10s in the past, and I just don't like the fact that you have to try so hard on the bends. I really like something more smooth. So that's what I would go for as 8s, personally. 9s I could do, but 10s, that's too much. Maybe on a Gibson style guitar that would be fine, but In most situations, like on the guitars I play, like my Kiesel Delos kind of guitar, yeah, 10s would never happen on this, unless I was like a step down, maybe. Or maybe a step and a half down. Makes your fingers stronger. That's true, it does make your fingers stronger. And there's probably slightly better tone in certain situations. But just because it makes your fingers stronger, it doesn't mean it's better. It means that it's different in certain situations. But it also makes your playing slower, I've found. So if you're going to be playing some fast alternate picking, it's not going to be as easy. You're going to have to go through a little bit of a thicker string to get there, and it does sort of have an effect on speed, I found. Maybe a small effect, but still a little bit of an effect. So, not that that's enough of a reason to not use 10s, because it's not like it's that huge difference, but still, it is a difference, and I'm just so used to the feel of 8s that I just couldn't use anything else. When was the last time someone asked you to play that Buckethead lick? Probably the last time I was on a live stream, which was probably a few days ago. And the last time, the true answer is right now, because this is the most recent time. Everyone asked me to play this lick, and I'll do it. Let's do it in B minor. That's sort of like the soothsayer lick, just something like that. I'm going through the comments. I'll get to these shortly. Does the Buckethead lick have the Yngwie lick in it? Not really, no. More Paul Gilbert style. What amp do you use? So he said, what amp do you use? I use a lot of different amps, but when I'm doing like lives and stuff, I think I use more plugins just because it's easier just to have a tone set up right here. But yeah, I'm just using a plugin right now, but also I use Fryed amps, I use Mesa Boogie amps, I use Orange amps, I use Fender amps. Ironically, I don't have any Marshall amps, which is kind of funny because it's like part of my name. I gotta give me a Marshall, but at the same time, I probably could just get me a FM9, like an XFX or something. That'd probably be a lot more beneficial than the tube amps, because recording them at loud volumes is, you know, it's loud for them. If you want them to sound good, they gotta be loud. Your shredding is amazing, but we don't get to hear much rhythm riffing in these streams. Can you bust out some tasty rhythm for us, please? That'd be a good idea to do it. What kind of rhythm should we do? What is your practice routine? Oh, someone just made a donation. Hey, shout out to you, man. I appreciate that. Someone said, what is your practice routine? If you said it already, I missed it. All right, I'll give you my practice routine. So, I'll be honest. I don't have a real practice routine. So yeah, thank you for the donation. I do really appreciate that. But I'm going to answer this as best as I possibly can, because I don't have a specific routine, because I'm not one of those people who needs to be structured in that way. If I feel like I need to work on something, it'll typically be, right here on the spot. So my practice routine would be, though, if I were to have one, would probably be run 3 notes per string scales, first and foremost. So let's take the modes of the major scale, maybe G major. So this is what step number 1 would be. So if I was to do that, I would do that, and also I would do it where I would practice it with alternate picking and then economy picking. So that is alternate. Now I would do economy. Okay. So now I did it with economy picking. See? Very cool. And now if I wanted to really get my chops going real fast with the 3 notes per string, I would play ascending, descending, ascending, descending. And basically what that means is I would play 1 scale ascending, and then I would descend with the next scale. So it would be like this. Economy picking, of course. So that's how I practice 3 notes per string just about every time. And then if I wanted to do an arpeggio practice, I would probably start with 3 strings. So if we're in the key of G major still, I would just go for a 3-string G major arpeggio. And then with that, I would get this. So fast, maybe I would sound like this. I got a nice harmonic out of that too. So then, if I was satisfied with the 3-string sound, maybe I would go for some string skipping type arpeggios in G. If I wanted a different sound, then maybe I would change it up with sweep picking and string skipping. So I would do maybe this. So I combined a little bit of sweep picking and a little bit of string skipping, and then you got that. And then if I got bored of that, then maybe I'd just go straight for the 6-string arpeggios. Well, that's 6 and 5, but you get the idea. So then, if I needed something else to my practice routine, then maybe I would go for more 7th arpeggios after that. So maybe I would go, maybe let's take C major 7. Then maybe I would try to connect some shapes. So then we would go to E minor 7. G major 7. Then maybe I'll connect all those shapes. So that would be G major 7, so G major 7, E minor 7, or wait, C major 7, E minor 7, G major 7. My bad. Whoops. So maybe I would work that into my routine. And essentially what I work into my routine, if I were to be practicing, is essentially just ideas that I know will get the fingers, warmed up and stuff like that, and stuff that I could use in a musical context as well. And someone just commented hybrid picking. Yeah, I would work on that too, probably in some way, shape, or form. So maybe I would add arpeggios to my hybrid picking. So if I added arpeggios, my hybrid picking, maybe we're back in G major. So if we add some arpeggios to your G major 7, with hybrid picking, maybe I would do this. It's a little bit of sweep picking involved with this too. Maybe I'll want to extend the shape a little bit more. Then we got some diminished 7 stuff, so maybe I would even work that in. So for the reason for a lot of the stuff that I'm showing you right now is I'm trying to get as much arpeggios, as much different sounds and shapes as possible and scales as possible, just to work on for overall, musicality, overall fretboard knowledge. So this is what I would do if I were to create a practice routine. And this is the kind of, practice routines I do create for my students. I'll in general say stuff like this for them to work on. So shout out to that person who donated for that question to be answered. What's up, man? Just enjoying here. Hey, shout out to you, man. Appreciate that. Glad you liked the live stream. These live streams are so fun, man. Straight up. Do you still have your Gibson LP Buckethead guitar? Yes, I do. I have all my guitars, my friend. I always keep my guitars. Also, I forgot to add to that practice routine. I also forgot to add to that practice routine. I would add pentatonic to this as well, so I'd start in G. So don't forget to add the pentatonic scale to your practice routine, because that is a good sounding scale that is very universal. It sounds good over so many different chords. It's amazing. Is Straten Marshall a play on Straten Marshall? Yes. I was named after a Fender Stratocaster and a Marshall amp. Yes, that's correct. I didn't choose this name as like a stage name. It was just my name. Well, technically Marshall is my middle name and Straten is my first name. Pretty cool, right? You're a great inspiration for not giving up. Thanks a lot and greetings from Japan. Hey, shout out to you, man, and shout out to Japan. I really appreciate that compliment, man. Thank you. Shout out to you. I was trained in modal scales and now I can't get pentatonic scales to sound pentatonic. So if you can't get pentatonic scales to sound pentatonic, you might be using them 3 notes per string. So I would just say incorporate it into your modal playing. You can always do that. So if you have like maybe Mixolydian. Maybe try the Mixolydian pentatonic. There's a lot of different pentatonic scales you can do. You could do D Mixolydian pentatonic, which would be this. that is another form of the pentatonic scale. But if you want to get your stuff to sound more pentatonic, just bend some strings, man. Listen to some Van Halen. Listen to some Randy Rhoads. Listen to some Eric Johnson. Get that pentatonic sound in your ears, and then try. But yeah, you gotta bend some strings to get that sound. Some slides too, that'll help. It's a really cool arpeggio right there. So someone said, I took a skip lesson from you years ago. What do you mean by that? You took a lesson? Oh, a skip. He means a Skype lesson. I get it. Oh, did you? Cool. Did you go to music college? No, I did not. I did not go to music college. I wanted to at one point, though, but I never decided to go. It's too busy playing guitar. Getting good. What? So someone said, what bridge pickup is that? This is a Kiesel beryllium humbucker. And may as well tell you what single coils these are because we're on the subject. These are Kiesel Mark singles and another Kiesel Mark single in the neck. So that's pretty much what we got right here is Mark singles and a Kiesel beryllium. And this is what I would recommend if you're going to get a Kiesel guitar like mine. These are a great pickup combination because you're going to get really some good sounds out of this. Are you a Sean Lane fan at all? Yes, I am a Sean Lane fan. Which is the best guitar in your opinion? This one right here. This is the best guitar in my opinion. And it's definitely the favorite, my favorite guitar that I own as well. I really like this guitar. It's very, very cool. I spec'd this one out maybe a year ago. Yeah. Maybe, actually, is it 2 years? Actually, it's almost 2 years now, I think. I was just remembering a riff I wrote. I was playing it a little bit ago. I was like, you know what? I remember this riff I wrote a long time ago, and I never used it in a song. Well, I did use it in a song, but it just didn't fit the way I wanted it to. And I just started playing it out of nowhere, and I was like, wait, I did it like this. It's a really cool riff. I love the fretboard. Me too. This fretboard is so beautiful. I'll just show it off again. This light, I got really bright lights on me right now. So when I do live streams with really bright lights, this fretboard pops. I got good lighting. I get really good lighting actually at this angle, how I have it right now. I got the light hitting it perfectly. It just looks super, super awesome. Dude, Straten, you're the best. Thank you, man. Thank you. Shout out to you. Why do you prefer maple fretboard over rosewood? I don't know. I just do. I don't really have a preference. I just kind of like the way it looks. And I like also the way what's it called? The way the roasted maple works, because the roasted maple, it doesn't matter what the weather conditions are like, your neck is more stable because the roasted maple reduces a lot of moisture, which is really cool. And if I'm gonna go for a rosewood, actually I would probably go for rosewood for the tone. I would go to rosewood for the tone, and I really like it when the rosewood's really dark too. I like it when there's no inconsistencies where it's like really dark, like a dark rosewood. All my best sounding rosewood ones are really dark, so yeah. I need to go for a rosewood next time. There is really no difference between them. They're equally as good, really. I just like, but the colors I choose, it just seems to match really nicely with the colors I usually choose. And I don't know. Roasted maple rocks, it's brighter. Yeah, it's definitely brighter, which some people aren't. I really don't like it because of the tone. I just really like it because of the aesthetic. But if it just depends, because some guitars look better with that rosewood look too. So it just really depends. What do you guys prefer? Because there's really no tonal difference that I notice right away, but sometimes actually there is like a deeper, thicker sound sometimes with that rosewood or ebony even. So I don't know. I've never really A and B'd it that much. I wouldn't mind either, honestly. Thoughts on Nick Johnston? He actually he commented on one of my videos on Instagram, like I don't know, a couple months ago. I was like, dang. But someone said, thoughts on Nick Johnston? I don't see as many Strat players nowadays, and it's a shame, such versatile guitars. Oh, I agree. Yeah, he's one of those guys who's a great Strat player. Like when we think of modern Strat players, he should be one of those people that we mentioned, because he's very good. Very good. I like his album Remarkably Human, and I like his album Atomic Mind. Maple or ebony or rich light for me. Yeah, I was thinking about trying rich light because I know it's really like dark and there's no inconsistencies in the wood, which looks really good. You don't like trem bar? I do like the trem bar. I haven't I haven't put it on yet. I keep my guitars in the case because it protects them from cold weather and basically, actually, and it protects them from really humid weather as well. Keeps your guitars consistent. So, well, it helps protect them. It doesn't completely protect them, but it just keeps them, you know, closest to how they should sound, I believe. I don't know. I just think that's how it does work, because of the weather inconsistency. So, with that being said, I just didn't have the time to put it on. I just felt like getting right on this live stream and not waiting. So that's the reason why I'm not using a trem. And it's probably in the case too. What kind of trem? This is a Godot trem, but for my next guitar, I might go for the Kiesel trem, or what's it called? Hip shot. That's what it's called, hip shot. So yeah, I might go for that, but I have a hip shot on some other guitar of mine, 2 of my other guitars, so either way is fine. I like both. I might even start leaning towards the hip shot nowadays because like that floating system it has, it really has the closest feel to a Floyd Rose that I've tried without actually being a Floyd Rose. So yeah. And I also am thinking about trying one of those Vega trems, or I'd like to try one of those Vega trems. Those seem really cool too. Has anyone had any experience with Vega trems? Hey Stratton, are you going to the Dallas Guitar Festival? What's that? I literally have no clue what that is. Thanks for responding. No problem, man. No problem. Always glad to help. Do you like metal music? Yeah, of course. I bought a Vega trem for my Strat and it's awesome. Super simple to set up and it works great. Hey man, you got me sold on that already. Dream Theater. Oh yeah, Dream Theater is awesome, man. Do you know if anyone makes a shorter tremolo bar? I want one that stays out of my way. I have no idea. The only ones I know of are like Goto and Hipshot. And neither of them are that short. They're about the same length, in my opinion. I could A and B them, but I've never seen a short trem bar. If it's in your way, you could just, depending on what kind of guitar you have, just tilt it that way or get it at the right sort of looseness or tightness where it will stay where you want it to stay. Do you use plugins or do you like plugins? I like plugins, yeah. Oh yeah. Who doesn't? Well, I guess some people don't, but they're very convenient. They sound great. You know of Rick Graham? Oh yeah. Rick Graham's awesome, man. Insane. Super smooth player. Very unique style too. Because he's like able to play classical guitar and electric guitar. It's like, whoa, how do you become so good at classical and electric? Really awesome player though. What genre of music do you listen to? I listen to hard rock, metal, classical, some jazz, some fusion, blues, and that's about it. Some hip hop here and there. I could never grow the thumbnail. Oh yeah, for classical guitar? Yeah, for classical guitar, you really got to have some nails if you want that tone to be, correct, I guess. or authentic to classical guitar tone, but yeah, gotta maybe grow those nails out and just don't trim them for a while. I don't know. I don't know how to do it either. I guess only time will grow them. Why does harmonic minor sound so cool? Because it's just super classical sounding. I don't know. I really don't know why it sounds so cool. It just reminds you of classical music maybe, which is really cool. Hey, we got another donation. Any big artists or bands reach out to you to join yet? Hey, shout out to you, man. Appreciate the donation. And no, they have not reached out. No famous bands have reached out yet. You never know, though. Never know. That would be really cool, but I appreciate the donation, man. Thank you. We got 2 donations already for this stream. I think that's awesome, man. You guys are the best, seriously. Really nice of you guys. Actually, kind of you guys to donate to the stream. And it's been really fun talking to you guys and discussing music all the time. Like every stream, I don't even have to really think of a topic. We just start talking and I don't have to prepare anything. I just play, talk, answer your questions, and it seems to be the best way that way. But maybe I'll come with some topics next time so I can have something more prepared. But at the same time, just sort of live streaming without anything planned seems to be really fun too. I don't know. It's cool doing it either way, but I was actually thinking maybe next time I should have a real specific topic. But answering questions is always cool too. You must have the pick of destiny. I got the pick of destiny, bro. Real talk. What picks do you prefer? Dunlop Alltech Sharp 1.0. Always prefer these. Straight up, always prefer them. It's not even a question anymore. I just can't use any other picks the same way I can use these. Unless they're like $50 picks, which are like blue chip picks, but I might even still prefer these. I'm not fully sure. These are just cheap and they're good. So that would be a, let me repeat, Dunlop Alltech Sharp 1.0. Been using this exact pick for a while because I just found it to be the best tone. I'm talking over 10 years. The only difference I think I've done with this pick was change the millimeter. So maybe I was at like 2.0 at one point, and then maybe I was at like 1.5 maybe even. I'm not fully sure if they made a 1.5, but probably. I know for a fact they made like a 1.14 or a 1.1 something, maybe even a 1.2, but I use the 1.0s right now, probably because that's just what was available. I remember getting like a ton of packs of these and just using them, you know. They last forever. I think I've been using this pick for a couple months. Randomly found myself here. That was great soloing. Well done. Shout out to you, man. Thank you. Straten, you can play anything. Straten, you can play anything. You can big like the greats. Hey, I appreciate that. I don't know what you meant by the second part of that sentence, but I understand that you said I can play anything. And with that being said, thank you. I think you're trying to compliment me, so thanks. Those sweeps are so clean. Thank you. Overdrive or distortion, overdrive. All day. Overdrive has that more smooth, like... Do you still do private lessons? Oh my gosh. Do you still do private lessons? Yes, I do. Is there a link to getting private lessons? Not in this live stream. I haven't put any links in the description, but there are links in the other descriptions of my videos or whatever. And you can find like lesson packs and courses. There's one that's like $20. But as far as getting a hold of me, you could contact me on Instagram if you're interested in a private lesson. Or usually I don't do just one private lesson. Usually I kind of set up private lessons, whereas people schedule them a month at a time. So that means 4 lessons once per week. But you could contact me on Instagram about that. But sometimes I do like a one-off lesson, but it's usually like 4 lessons. You are awesome from India. Hey, shout out to India. Thank you. Can you do the Buckethead lick? I could do the Buckethead lick. All right, let's pick a different key this time because I did it earlier in this live stream and it was in B minor. So let's try, I don't know, C sharp minor. How was that for a Buckethead style lick? Came up right on the spot. Came up with right on the spot, all improvised. It's pretty easy to improvise in that style though, because if you get used to these sort of shapes, these sort of natural minor shapes, you can figure them out all over the fretboard quite easily. Well, at least I organize them in a way where they're really easy to play with these kind of shapes. Can you do lessons on phrasing? I could do that. I could do that. Lick to strengthen pinky, please. You just got to do this 6-note pattern right here. So this 6-note pattern would be all you need. Should be able to do this for a while. So try that. Get used to playing legato only exercises with your left hand and use the combination of your ring finger and your pinky finger and your index finger. And if you can do all of that, then maybe use the combination of your middle finger, your pinky, and index finger. And if you do that, and then maybe try other variations, which may be like your first 3 fingers. Try maybe a chromatic lick. But chances are you're probably a lot better at that than your ring and pinky legato combination with your index. You're probably a lot better at your first 3 fingers. So chances are you probably need to work on the pinky combination more. The pinky, index, 3rd finger combination, that is. And it's also the middle. It's not that hard either. So if you can do this, you probably are a lot better at that than maybe doing this. So if you can do this one, I recommend working on the other variation more because that one's slightly more difficult. Does the Buckethead lick have that pinky exercise lick in it? Pretty much. I mean, it's not the exact exercise, but it's a variation of it. So if you were to, play the pattern, it's more like... Yeah, it has to do with that pattern like that. So put it this way. If you're able to do this lick, you're going to have a lot easier time with the Buckethead lick. Just put it that way. It's rare that you could do this and not be able to do this. See, there's 3 variations that kind of work your way into that lick, and I just kind of showed it to you there. So if you pay attention, that would be pretty much all you need to really get yourself started on this whole... When you do the... I'm not sure I understand your question. Does the Buckethead lick have that pinky exercise in it? That's what I meant by Yngwie lick earlier. Oh, because Yngwie does this kind of pattern sometimes. Yeah, it does kind of. If you play them both side by side, you'll notice the difference in time feel, that is. Because the Yngwie is better in that more click-like timing, where you kind of get that sort of... I could tap my foot to that. Whereas the Buckethead lick is much more better when it's floating over the beat rather than that sort of rhythmic sort of... It's much more... And the reason for that is not because you're not playing the notes in time, it's because the accents are different with that picking technique. There's not a lot of accents going on like there is on this sort of... It's just much more lends itself to floating over the beat and being more worried about how you end a lick rather than how you time it in between it, if that makes sense. Can you do that lick slowly? Which lick? The Buckethead lick, you want me to play slow? Okay, I'll play that slow. We'll play it in B minor. So basically, this is what it would be slow. So you can use that in your Buckethead lick. Do this sort of triplet pattern, kind of Eddie Van Halen style, but Buckethead does this as well. So that pattern, or that variation, would actually be like this. You are insane, dude. Appreciate you, man. I can play that like, but how do you loop it? With this pattern. You gotta do that lick. Or if you aren't even that far into this lick yet, you can just do it like this. So yeah, cool. Now everyone's got the Buckethead lick, I think. But I know that this is not going to be the last of the Buckethead lick, because every time I go on a live stream, this is a big request, which is fine, which is cool. But with that being said, do some more playing, answer a few more questions, and yeah. Oh wow, we got another donation. Thank you. This is awesome. Can you give an example of branching off of a relative pentatonic key? Can you give an example of branching off of a relative pentatonic, say a blues, into an arpeggio sequence? Well, shout out to you, man. Thank you for the donation. And that's a really good question. I really like that question, because he's basically asking, are you basically asking, before I answer this, like a blues sounding arpeggio, or more of just playing arpeggios within your blues playing? Because that's a really good question. And I'll start off by answering, if you wanted to play into your blues sort of playing, you can always use diminished, because there's a little bit of diminished when you play the blues because of all the chords that involve that. So with that being said, so if you're in a sort of blues kind of feel, I like the sound when I'm playing like sort of a bluesier sounding arpeggio. I like the sound of dominant 7 arpeggio. So that was sort of a sweeping way of playing it. You could play it with a non sort of sweeping way. But one thing I like to do is I like to do these sort of, I believe this is like a forest pattern. And it's very similar to the crossroads lick, this sort of diminished lick. But if you do that with dominant 7, you could really get some nice bluesy sounds out of that. It really gives you sort of that bluesy arpeggio tonality, which is really cool. So I would like you to clarify that, but if not, that's fine. So you could do that in D7 as well. That was a B7 arpeggio, but if you're playing like a blues lick, it'd be really easy just to go into that sort of sound. You could it's very easy to sort of get that sound when you're in that sort of style of phrasing. So that would work over a D7 chord. And both of those are actually inside the modes of G major scale, or the G major scale modes. So D7 would be mode 5, which would be very tempting to just be able to do this. When you have the opportunity, when that chord happens, I mean, it's pretty hard not to go for that. You can do that there too. So if you know what a standard D major 7 arpeggio sounds, add that dominant 7th in there. It'd be a very good opportunity to play that as well, which is cool. And if you have any more questions on that, just feel free to ask. But with that being said, I really like the sound of dominant 7 arpeggios when you're trying to get that blues feel, if you know what I mean. So yeah. You can do that in a lot of different positions as well. Right there. What are the darkest arpeggios? That's a good question. I would honestly say maybe like a D minor arpeggio, just like a straight up really dark sounding arpeggio would be D minor or E minor. E minor. Or maybe even diminished 7. Very cool stuff. As far as like that really dark metal sound. And then what else do we got if you want that sound? Even some melodic minor arpeggios could give you sort of that tone too. It's a really hard shape to play, man. Can you differentiate diminished versus seventh diminished? I believe diminished are just seventh arpeggios. I don't think that it's referred to as just. I just say diminished for short because it's diminished seventh because it's all just. Those minor thirds, you know what I mean? One of those sounded very Randy Rhoads. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Can you please show hi subbed? Hey, shout out to you, man. Thank you. I can't find the comment I was looking for. Oh well. Will you critique my solo if I link it? I'm live streaming on my phone right now, so I don't know how I would do that. Maybe if I have a different setup, I could do that. Someone says Straten Marshall in all caps. What's up? Hey, Straten Marshall. Hope your night is going groovy. Hey, man. I'm having a good night. Thank you. I'm struggling with right hand positioning at every string. Can you please show how to go from lower to higher strings in a 3-note per string runs? Yeah, I was doing this earlier, but check it out. That was all ascending and descending economy picking, so very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Last solo you heard that lit your fire. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Let me think about it for a second. I was watching some Frank Mbali stuff, and I don't even know what it was. I wish I could name it for you, but just know it was something from Frank Mbali, and I was watching, and I was like, oh my gosh. The arpeggios, the phrasing. This is so technical, and he made it look so easy. I was like, dang, man. How do you do this? I mean, I know how he does it. He works hard and practices hard. I just was impressed. Very impressed because his phrasing and his blues feel and his like fusion style phrasing, and it's just crazy good. It's just very unique. I really like his playing a lot, and I was very impressed. I've always liked Frankenbali, but it's just funny that all these years later, I listen to Frankenbali and I'll still go, how does he do it? I mean, I know how he does it. He practices, but I still am very impressed. He's one of those guitar players that no matter how many years go by, there's a lot of stuff you can always learn from him no matter what. Similar to Holdsworth as well. He's one of those players that no matter what, it's like he has unlimited amounts of knowledge. I would put Frankenbali in that same category. They're very great. And they both belong in the same category, in my opinion, because they're legends, truthfully. And I bet you they really respected each other. Phenomenal musicianship. Frankenbali just dropped a new one like 2 days ago? Like a new album? Wow, I see now. You use Yngwie's thumb moves. I do that for a few different things. Maybe ascending economy picking, you'll find that movement. 2-string arpeggios. And 3-string arpeggios. So yeah, there's certain situations, and I just explained them, where you'll get that thumb movement happening. What about John Petrucci? Can you play his style? Not really. Not really. Well, I've never tried, but I know he does a lot of this kind of stuff. I don't actually play his style very much, but I like when he goes into the Phrygian dominant stuff. It sounds always cool. I really don't know his style too much, but I like his playing a lot. Shout out to Dream Theater. Shout out John Petrucci. Okay, we got some good questions here. Favorite tone from a well-known guitarist, EVH, RR. That's a good question. Favorite tone. You know, a lot of people criticize Randy Rhoads' tone because of I don't know what reason why they criticize it, but they would always say that Eddie Van Halen's tone was superior. I would say, here's a good one. How about this? Eric Johnson. That tone is amazing. That is some of the best tone you'll ever find. Do you have any arpeggios like Space? Like from Space? How about Arpeggios from Mars? Everyone likes that one. I'll play that. Again, this is Arpeggios from Mars. If you want to learn this, it's on my YouTube channel with tabs and everything and like a slow video. So if you want to learn this, it's on my YouTube channel. It's called Arpeggios from Mars. So after the live stream, if you like these arpeggios, you can go and learn it. Maybe I'll even link it in the description after this. I probably should link it in the description. Make it easier. But here we go. Thank you. That's tough to play. So if you want to learn that, go to my YouTube channel. Arpeggios from Mars, it's called. Very cool stuff. Favorite Paul Gilbert solo? I like Silence Followed by a Deafening Roar a lot. I like Curse of Castle Dragon a lot. I like Fuzz Universe. I love Fuzz Universe a lot. Everybody agrees on Johnson's tone. Yeah, Eric Johnson is legendary. What neck radius do you recommend? What neck radius do you recommend? I recommend you just find what you like, but if you want to know what I like, I typically go for a I would go for typically like a 12 to 16 compound radius, which is what's on this guitar and some of my other guitars. 14-inch radius is fine too. But this is kind of like the best of both worlds in my opinion. Do you notice more noise / hum coming from your guitar depending on the house outlets and lights depending where you're set up? I've bought several guitars that weren't that bad in the store, but horrible at home. Well, I'm probably not the greatest person to ask about this because I'm literally always avoiding hum when I play. I'm always avoiding it. I'm just doing a really good job at hiding it. So I'm not the greatest person to ask, but I've heard people say that is a cause of like extra noise. So it's probably true, but I haven't really noticed myself because I'm just constantly trying to hide that hum. So I even keep the noise gate off. That's how much I like the sound of this buzz. It's not that I like the sound of the buzz. I like the sound of the pickups that create the buzz. And I do everything in my control to minimize it. So I'll even play on position. I'll play on this position all the time right here. It's a position, it's in between the neck and the middle. So if it's in between the neck and the middle, it won't buzz. But then if I am not playing very dynamically and I'm just like shredding like crazy, I'll just go to the neck pickup and you can't really hear it much. And by the time it's going to buzz, the volume's already down and you don't hear it. So I'm very clever with hiding that buzz. You would probably never be able to tell that this is a super buzzy single coil guitar the way I hide it. But maybe I let it slide sometimes when I'm not paying attention. Because someone did mention in a different live stream that your guitar is really buzzy and turn on the noise gate. So I probably do have a really buzzy sounding guitar. I just got very used to it. What do you think? I'm just joking. It probably is buzzy. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's how the old school guitarists had to deal with the hum. They just worked around it. Hey man, love your playing. You're the cleanest shredder I've heard in a while. Know any Joe Bonamassa? Simple yet amazing, add second pentatonic runs with some mixolydian. I don't know any Joe Bonamassa, but I do know some like, well, I can kind of play in the style of Eric Johnson. So by default, Joe Bonamassa copies Eric Johnson. So technically I know some Joe Bonamassa licks through Eric Johnson, if that makes sense. Let me try some stuff in that style. How long did it take for you to naturally sound good on guitar? How long did it take for you to sound naturally good on guitar? Good question. Most people would say I sounded good within the first 6 months to a year, and I probably sounded pretty good, but I wasn't a good, fully developed musician where I could just play anything that I wanted. I mean, I could if I really practiced and spent a lot of time doing it, which I did, but I wasn't able to just pick up the guitar and just play what I hear, if that makes sense. I think I needed a little bit more music theory, a little bit more fretboard knowledge, practice, all that stuff before I could sound good. So I would say it took probably 10, after about 10 years. Actually, I sounded pretty good at 5 years, but then I was way better at 10 years, and I feel like I'm even way better at 15 years, and we're going on 16 years this August. So the true answer to your question is, I always feel like I'm there, but then, and then 5 years can go by and be like, oh wow, that was terrible. I'll look back and go, that was horrible. Even me now, I'll think it's terrible because of how much better I have gotten. In 5 years, I'm going to be a lot better than I am now. Put it that way. And then 5 years from then, I'm going to be a lot better than I was at that point. So it's one of those things that you always think you got to this point until 5 years goes by. And after that 5 years, you're like, dang, I'm so much better now. That's how it always works for me, at least. And that's why I think I can consistently improve, or I can consistently get results and improve, and it doesn't really feel like you're really improving either. That's what's funny about it. You don't feel like you're improving in the moment, but when you practice the way I do and play the way I do, you're going to improve. It's not likely if you have a guitar in your hand as much as I do, it's pretty unlikely that you're gonna just stay stagnant. You're gonna improve more than likely. So to answer your question, I would say I got pretty satisfied with my guitar playing in around the 8-year mark. Around the 8-year mark, I felt like I got pretty good. I mean, even at the 5-year mark, I felt pretty good. Even at the first couple year mark, I felt good. But, you know, I was really, really disciplined in getting better, you know? So yeah, I felt pretty accomplished by year 8 though, or year 9, year 10, I felt really accomplished. But I felt that way I always felt that way for the amount of time I was playing, because I just played a lot, and I made sure, I was like, you know what, it's not gonna happen, or I'm not gonna let myself not get to the results that I need to get to. I wasn't gonna let myself fail in that way. I was like, you know what, you gotta get the results. So you gotta practice, you gotta play. So it's an interesting point. Never thought of it that way either. How do you get your attack to remain as consistent / smooth? Whenever I speed up, things get really clicky for me. Hand position, any advice would help. So the way I pick, I hold my pick, or I anchor my pinky right there, and I just sort of create a consistent attack. So if you're doing tremolo picking, then, so I think what you mean is when you're crossing strings, because you probably have the right attack when you're tremolo picking, right? Your issue is more than likely crossing the strings, being able to do this. So it's not really to do with the hand position, it's more of to do with how you hold the pick, which is sort of your hand position, but it's how you hold the pick, because there's certain licks that require you to hold your pick in certain ways, whether it's economy picking or alternate picking. This is a pretty complicated subject, but it's called, I think, two-way pick slanting, and look into that, and that will probably get you some results fairly immediately, actually. Do you play every day? Yes. Yeah, I don't practice. That's my problem, I don't practice. That's my problem, and I know it. LOL. I mean, yeah, if you practice, You're gonna improve. Everyone intrinsically knows this too. It's like we know that we need to practice, but sometimes it's easier just to not practice, you know? But with that being said, I'm not much of a practice. When I say practice, I more mean play. I don't really practice too much, but I used to practice quite a bit. As far as like sitting here working on these licks, I've got a lot of this stuff down. So if I notice there's a small flaw in the technique, I can literally fix it within seconds because I've put in the time and put in the work to get that level of technique. Oh wow, we got another donation. Dang, man. You guys are the best. Thanks for sharing your expertise. Thanks for sharing your expertise with us so casually. Dig the communal vibe. We're all here to do better. Thank you, man. Seriously, shout out to you. I appreciate that so much, man. Seriously, thank you. You guys are great. All you guys are donating, supporting the stream. Seriously, shout out to you guys. You guys are a great community. Seriously, I mean that. This community is the best. We just sit in here, we talk about guitar, we try to improve each other's technique, we talk about gear, music, and we all have a like-minded sort of approach to improve. It's awesome. And we're interested all in the coolest thing, like 80s, 90s, 2000s shred. It's sick, man. Super sick. I'm going to play a cool lick for that. Thank you, man. Are you in a band? I'm not in a band currently, but I'm working on it because I have some original music I'm recording, and you know, we're trying to get my career to the point where I can perform in tour. So yeah, that's the goal. So I will be in a band. Just right now, I'm still focused on getting my music right and releasing it. And once I release it, have enough material to go live and play all my tunes and stuff. And when I do play live, I'm going to have my signature guitar solo like they did back in the 80s and really create that sort of old school vibe, but with a modern touch. It'll be cool, man. Can't wait. So I'll be in a band. You're going to be hearing more from me, trust me. Trust me. Do you still have your Buckethead Les Paul? I do. I do still have it. I just made a harmonic with my pinky. That was crazy. I don't think I'd be able to do that if I tried it 10 times. You ever have that happen where you hit a harmonic at the perfect timing and you're just like, yep, I would never be able to replicate that. For many years, you have inspired me to keep playing and practicing. I always enjoy your vids. Thanks for that. Hey, thank you for the support. I seriously appreciate it. And keep going with your guitar playing. Shout out to you, man. Thank you. I would love to start incorporating that chicken pickin' vibe in the shred. It doesn't necessarily sound like country, just incredibly proficient and efficient. Love me some country players though. That's an interesting point you have there because, yeah, if you pluck slightly harder like this, like that tone I'm talking, it will give you more of a country vibe if you do something like. You got to pluck harder to get that country sound, but the way I do it, it's a little bit lighter, it's a little softer of a touch. I can even do this with alternate picking kind of style stuff where I would go. I do it sometimes. I don't even notice when I do it. I just do it, and every time I try to do it, that's the funny thing, is it's not as easy to do. It's more like so natural that if I even try to do it or think about doing it, it won't happen, but it just happens when I am like in the zone, I noticed. You are awesome. I've learned quite a few sweet patterns from your videos. Keep it up, my dude. Shout out to you, man. Thank you. That's good to hear. Yeah, so as far as that chicken picking or hybrid picking sound, I'm typically going for more of like it's taking the place of an upstroke essentially. Do you like Andy Wood. Yeah, Andy Wood's good, man. He's really good at that sort of alternate picking, kind of country style guitar playing. Very impressive stuff. I've watched him for a long time. I just like remember him from a long time ago too. He plays Sir guitars, I believe. Not a player, but I do listen to a heck of a lot, and I really like your videos and your sound. Oh wow, shout out to you, man. It's very rare that a viewer is not a guitar player. Well, actually, I don't know that for a fact, but I would assume that a lot of guitar players or musicians watch these videos. So that's really cool to hear. Awesome, man. Do you play any other instruments by chance? An improvisation on a harmonic scale. Harmonic minor scale? Let's try Phrygian dominant. Neil Zaza is another good one. I need to check him out. I have heard the name before. Actually, I think he has a Kiesel signature model. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like he has a Kiesel signature model. Maybe that's where I heard of him. But I need to check out some of his stuff for sure. Guy got skills, respect, bro. Thank you. Hey man, just want to say I've learned and improved by a lot. Hey man, just want to say I've learned and improved a lot because of your videos. Keep on rocking, bro. Hey, shout out to you, man. Thank you. That's actually really awesome to hear. All these people saying they improved from my videos. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. What is your Instagram? At Straten Marshall. At Straten Marshall. Please lick sweeping plus tapping. All right, I got one for you. This one's actually a lesson on my YouTube page. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to play it correctly, but I'm going to just do some cool tapping, regardless. Wait. It's actually really kind of tough right now. That's a good voicing right there. Actually has a really cool pentatonic-like sound to it for some reason. I'm not sure why. That's cool too. Really cool voicings I'm using right now, out of nowhere. Nope, just been listening to guitar since Yngwie's Rising Force. My cousin is a ridiculous guitar player. Just love the guitar and watch tons. Oh wow, that's awesome, man. That's really interesting, actually, because I guess there's some non-guitar players who listen to Yngwie, but the majority of Yngwie fans, I would assume, play guitar. So that's actually really interesting that you don't play guitar and like Yngwie. That's awesome, man. Really cool. I'll do some more tapping, why not? Actually, more times than not, I would probably not tap that. I would probably use just not tapping and do something more like this. Dang. Hi mate, so did you start playing guitar with alternate or economic picking? I started with economy picking, and then I watched a Paul Gilbert video, so this is intense rock we're talking about here, and I watched intense rock and I went, dang, I'm doing it wrong. So I played this lick and went, I wanted to do it with a downstroke. But I didn't know at the time, if you just crossed it with a downstroke and you continued the alternate picking lick, that it would be essentially inside picking. But at this point, I've only been playing for like a year. I didn't really know all this stuff about guitar at this point. So fast forward, I just went straight to alternate for so many years. And then I realized I heard this term economy picking. I was like, wait, what's that? I was like, wait, I used to do that right before I watched Intense Rock by Paul Gilbert. So essentially, Paul Gilbert was the reason I started alternate picking, but then I got back into economy picking once I got into different styles, you know? And I use both now. Now I don't even care. I'll just use whatever I feel like. Pentatonic licks, technically that is pentatonic. It's the Japanese pentatonic scale. Very cool stuff. It's called the Hirajoshi scale. You're underrated for real. Hey, shout out to you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nice solo. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're working on some random techniques right now. When I watch my right hand, I'm doing it to observe how to play things sometimes. I do it to observe how I do things because not all of this stuff is worked out the way it used to be. What I mean by that, I used to have it by memory on how all this stuff worked, and then before I knew it, I got so ahead of myself with these techniques that I actually have to watch to see what I'm doing to get it figured out, because if I don't pay attention, then I don't actually know what I'm doing, because I've got to that point with my technique where I used to work on it based off of a predetermined understanding of something. I'd have a predetermined understanding of how something works, then I'd work through it. Now, I don't have a predetermined understanding. I play something, I'm like, I don't even know how I do it anymore. I actually have to go back and watch it. Which is not a bad problem to have, I suppose, but it's kind of cool actually that I don't know what I'm doing anymore, because it's almost like I get to learn as I go. It's pretty cool. Phrygian lick, please. Phrygian dominant, maybe, or just standard Phrygian. I'll do a standard Phrygian lick for you. We don't get to hear that enough. That's actually like my go-to Phrygian 3 notes per string pattern right there. I'm left-handed and play guitar normally. I'm left-handed and play guitar normally guitar. I have a problem when changing from alternate to economy picking. Give me some tips, please. Don't stop impressing people. Here from Indonesia. Hey, shout out to Indonesia, and shout out to you for the question and the comment. And I'm also left-handed, but I play guitar right-handed, so we have something in common there. I always played guitar right-handed, even though I am sort of left-handed pretty much with everything else. Not 100% everything, but most things. But with that being said, you're having trouble with changing from alternate to economy picking. Yeah, I don't see how that would be easy to do, actually, unless you practice very hard. So don't feel bad about having trouble with that, because they're two totally different picking techniques. And with that being said, you're gonna have to get sort of some practice with economy picking, because if you use typically alternate picking for, let's say, 3 notes per string, you're gonna have to just straight up go for economy picking full time for a while before you get any good at it, unfortunately. So you're gonna have to go straight to economy picking if you want to get good at it, because I'm assuming you're coming from an alternate picking background. So what I would say is just play 3 notes per string scales like this and just loop it like this. Just keep looping it like this over and over until you get the tone you want. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question, by the way. Work on your economy picking 3 notes per string. Or 2 notes per string like this. You could take the pentatonic scale, maybe the E minor pentatonic scale, and go like this. And do down, up, down, repeat. So that'll be down, up, down, repeat. Now get your economy picking pretty good too. And maybe that's even easier. I'm not fully sure. But try either of those techniques and let me know how that goes. Could you play a jazzy riff in E minor? I'll try something jazzy. It's probably not going to be as jazzy as it could be, but let's try it. They use those arpeggios in jazz actually all the time. They'll go. But I have a lot of gain on, so we're not going to get super jazzy with all this gain. It just won't sound right. Whoops. Do you do any of the crazy fast 2 note per string licks? Yeah, I do that. Like this, pentatonic stuff. Yeah, I do some of that stuff, and you can even do that with like you know, the Hirajoshi scale. Whew, that's a big stretch. I will try your exercise and tips, thanks. Once more, I always waiting your albums. If you remember me before, cheers. Hey, shout out to you, man. Yeah, I'm working on the album, and I really think you'll enjoy it when it's finished. But thank you for the support. Diminished 3 note per string arpeggios. Let it rip. Gotta end it with that bend though. You know what I mean? What radius is the fretboard on your Delos? So on this Delos, it's a 12 to 16 compound radius. Love it. Love this radius. 12 to 16 compound. How do you practice to get that speed? I started off with like 3 notes per string stuff, then sweep picking, string skipping, you know, stuff like that. I teach guitar too, so I could create a practice routine if you'd like. I'm pretty good at that. And for anyone watching, yeah, I give Skype guitar lessons, so if anyone's interested in Skype guitar lessons, just let me know. If anyone's interested in Skype guitar lessons, just let me know. I'm pretty good at helping my students improve. Their results are very good. right, guys, I'm going to be heading out here in like 1 minute, so let me know if you have any last minute questions. Can you talk about the left hand and thumb position on the neck for building technique and speed? Well, classical guitar position would be sort of more like this, and it depends on where you are on the fretboard as well. So if you're up here, up here, you're going to be wanting sort of more of a your thumb below the, like, it's actually like, let me see if I can get you a better angle. Yeah, like this, more like this. There you go. So like this. When you're here doing scales, but then when you're doing like bends and stuff, I typically am more of a have your thumb a little bit, above the neck like this. But you could try either of those and you'd probably get some good results. But most people probably have this. If you're like a metal shredder, they'll have their thumb below the fretboard, but I don't recommend that for always because it's hard to get good vibrato when doing that. So I would say maybe try an in-between position, sort of like I do. But sometimes if I'm playing Hendrix style, I'll do the thumb over the neck for the notes down here. So like, I'll do stuff like that to get that sort of Hendrix sort of sound. So it comes down to what you're playing, really, is the actual answer, I think. Hi, just joining in. Question, how do I correspond to set up Skype lessons? Hey, thank you for joining. I'm actually just about to head out, but the easiest way to contact me would probably be Instagram. So at Straten Marshall on Instagram. That's awesome. Thanks. Thanks for being so free with your knowledge. I know the hours it takes to get to where you are, and we appreciate it. Hey, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much. That's a kind thing to say. Because it does take a lot of time to get to a level of technique where you're satisfied. It takes a lot of time. And I feel very, glad to where I've gotten to, and I've only been hoping to improve ever since I've gotten here. So once I got to the level, I always immediately thought I still need to keep improving, still keep improving. So that's how you get to the next level, is by striving for more, always. But with that being said, guys, thank you for supporting the live stream. I appreciate everyone who donated today. You guys are the best. We have a great community of guitar players always on these live streams. So I'll be back for some more live streams probably sometime this week. And with that being said, I'll have some more music I'll be working on this week, more teaching this week, and I'm going to be working on some new videos as well. So keep keep on a lookout for all this stuff and all the content I'll be releasing, live streams, original music, all that stuff. So keep on a lookout for all that. And until next time, peace. Peace out, everyone. Have a good night. I'll be back probably later this week. All right, see you guys. Peace.